Okay, so this is section 1. It's just basically a kind of an arpeggio. These are all the notes. So if you get that dun 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 dun. You kind of get that groove. And the next part really just, since you're already there, and then you're just going to slide up to the 16th fret and just basically hit a harmonic and slide it down to the 13th fret and just hit the 13th fret on the G right above that. So if you try to put those two stages together, okay, so that's that section. Now after you do that, it's a pretty big jump. You have to go all the way up to, looks like the 19th fret. Actually, I'm sorry, 20th fret. And if you can hit that, it's a high E string and it's very thin. Oops. So it's kind of cool. It's like almost like a key change there. And that's where it goes from the... So that's why it ends on the E right there, it drops on that E chord right there. So it goes from the G sharp right there. So realistically, that's kind of the whole thing. And then as soon as it hits this, now it's kind of the start of the next lick, but I think that if you practice it, it would actually be more efficient to just hit that lick as a finishing lick. That way you can actually hit the harmonic and actually kind of keep it all cohesive. So. So if you can put all that together, you know, up to speed, you can get all those little tiny tweaks there in the... Even those little bends and little vibratos and stuff like that really adds to the tastiness of what Vito Bratta really went for and why we all love him. And that... So that's a pretty staccato lick. Now from here, this is a very simple but very cool lick. You're really just doing a bend walk down, so you're just doing a full step bend and then going down to the next fret. So it's kind of... Now this is the part that kind of confused me, so I'm going to kind of break it down. So if you can do the... and stop right there. So it's going to be the notes you're going to be basically on are the 19th bend to the 21st. Once you do that, then you go to the 16th fret and do a hold that note, and then you're going to play the next one, which you're going to immediately bend, which is going to be in the 17th fret, which is going to be bending a whole step up to the 19th. Then you're going to go down to the 14th fret. And then when you go to the 16th fret, you're going to bend up to the 17th, which is a half step bend, which is just a slight bend. So everything is kind of the same type of feel until you get to that one. And then the last one is 12. And then you're going to bend the 14th up to the 16th. Now this is the trick that it took me a little while to get, and I had to play it and play it and play it until I got it. But the last lick is 12, 11, 12. So you feel it's like dun, dun. So it's that's the whole lick. So. So the lick, when you get to it, you'll understand. Now when you get to that, it's a real quick transition to the very next part. So, and that's the weird part because it changes keys. You think that this is a wrong note, but it's not. So you end on the 9th fret, but then you pull off to the 8th fret, and then immediately start the next fret. So this is the chain. So it's basically 8, 10, 8, and then you're going to go 11, 10 on the D string, so it's all on the G and the D. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slide up, and that's going to be 13, 14, 13 on the B, and then 15 to the on the G to the 13. So. Very, very simple little kind of almost pentatonic lick. So, and what's really important about this is it's very, very legato. So it's got a. So you got to put these connected. It's really not going to sound correct if you do. Oops. It has the right notes. But it sounds like this. It always gets confusing me when I do it slow. I'll tell you why. Because these middle sections right here, these last two parts, is this right here has the two fingers on the B string together and then spread apart with these two fingers. But when you go to the next lick, it's these licks, which spread apart and then. So it's a little backwards, so it goes from. So what I end up doing when I play this, I slide it up to the position. So it's almost like I'm barring it. But when you get to that last part, or it's basically, I'm sorry, this is a 16, 18, 16. And then 18, 17 on the G string. And then you're basically just doing this little. Starts off basically on the 18th fret, or I'm sorry, 16th fret. And you're basically just rotating. So you do the whole thing. Now this is something that everybody's going to give me criticism on. You're supposed to tap with the pick. What that poses a couple of problems for me is, first off, I don't do that very often. I don't really care for the technique. It reminds me of an old Kirk Hammett kind of one solo, and I hate Kirk Hammett. So anyways, don't hate Metallica. Just can't stand Kirk Hammett. But the whole point is the picking technique that I use is just basically I use a Sharpie pick, and if you actually use this technique where you just basically put the pick right over the top of the fret that you're trying to do this with, it'll actually fret when you pick it the correct note. So when you slide down, it kind of gives you the same type of effect, but the benefit to me doing it this way is I don't mess up my picking hand or where my pick is, and I get to kind of slide into the next position more comfortably to keep the speed up, because it's a very, very difficult transition to do it other way. I mean, you go from like picking like this to coming back here, getting your hand in the right position on the it's a lot of transition. So I like doing it my way. You can do it the right way if you want. I don't really care. It's just for instructional purposes. So this is how I do it. I just basically put my pick right over the top of the 21st fret, and that's going to be while I'm holding down the 17th fret, and then I'm just going to go down to the 16th fret here, and then I'm going to go down to the 19th fret. And you're basically picking 8 notes. And then this one goes down 2 frets, this one goes down 2 frets, so the 14 and the 17. And then I go down to the 12 and then the 16. So this is kind of this cool little... And it does the exact same thing, but it also, I don't pick all 8 notes, I let this kind of vibrato and then also slide. Now while I'm sliding, I'm also putting my hand back into position as well. And now the last part, this is the most complicated by far. This is, you know, the part that everybody has done 15 different ways on YouTube, and I've tried to find somebody that does it exactly the way I do it, and I can't find it. So I'm going to break down why I did it the way I did it. So the first thing is, when I first saw the first video, and I got to give him a shout out because I never would have learned it without his stuff. He broke it down into several different things. I'll put his name in the comments, and thank you. But basically, it kind of showed me this. It's just like it's just kind of a string skip. Okay, now that first part right there bothered me. I instantly knew that that was not the way Vito Bratta played it. Nobody would play something like that on purpose. It's just too cumbersome. It's too much string skipping. It's too much individual picking. It's just not fast. You know, up to speed. I guarantee anybody's going to have problem. Vito Bratta would have problem. I bet you. You know, playing that up to speed that way because it's just not a comfortable type of thing. However, when you play things, there's also things that kind of lead me to believe that that wasn't played like this, because if you listen to the recording really, really, really close, some people play it like this, and they don't hit this note. Now, I know for a fact it's there, because if you listen to the recording really, 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 just loop it over and over and very, very slow, you can hear it, but it's kind of dead. It was like dead on the recording. But if you've recorded it as much as I have in the studio, you can play like until your fingers do this. And that's when my fingers are completely shredded. So anyways, I hope you guys appreciate how much pain I'm going through while I'm doing this instruction video. But basically, this makes more sense. This note just got a little bit more dead because of where my finger is, or my palm is on the tremolo. Now that makes most sense because it's a comfortable stretch. It's a bit wide because it's 7 to 12. So it's basically, just to show you the arpeggio, it's basically 12 to 7 on the B string, 9 to 8 on the G string, 9 again on the D string, and then back up using the exact same notes. Now the way I play it so I can get it speed, so I pick it once, pull off, pick, pull off, pick, hammer on, pick, pull off, or hammer on, pull off, and last is just a pick, pull off. So. So it gives you a nice staccato. Okay, so. And then on the next part, this is also the part of scrutiny that a lot of people have changed over the first guy did it like this. And I just, again, that's the only way that I learned it, but I couldn't get it fast, so I knew I was going to have to search for another different version. Another guy that was in, I think it was in, I can't remember what language it was in. It could have been Spanish or it could have been Romanian for all I know. But basically it was, and I can't remember what he did. He may have slid up, he may have done something different. But I listened to the recording, and this was where I started to try to figure it out myself. This part right here, it's in the same location, so it leads me to believe that Vito Bratta would have done it in the same location, because why go somewhere else if you can do it right here? Again, guitar players do things out of convenience, not because they're complicated. They want to go fast, so they do them easy. And then it's going to feel a little weird at first because you're going to have to jump in the middle of that. But because of the jump, you're actually going to get a little bit of a staccato sound, which is actually in the recording. So if you pay attention to it, it's there. So just a quick hammer-on pull-off on 7 to 11, and then just a bar over here. So on the B string. Now, if you listen really close, and here's my point. That has a bite to it that this doesn't. That has a more of a round tone. So when I listen to the recording, it's got that bite to it. So I believe that it was done right here on the part of the neck. So. And also what led me to believe that it happened right there is because on the recording I heard this slide from here to here. So that jumps all the way up to the 16th fret. Now, the way I do this is a whole section in itself. And that's basically a hammer-on, which is basically 16th to the 19th. It's hammer-on pull-off. And then you're going to go to the other string, which is going to be the very same thing. So it's the same. Now it feels a little weird because you're doing this, you know, instead of... A lot of people are doing that. But you got to go... So if you just break it up and leave it alone, and then shake another part of this lick. So it's just this little 16 to 19 to 16 and then 17 on the B string. And this is also in the recording as well. Once you hit this note, you immediately slide it all the way up to the 21st fret. Now the last part has got a lot of attitude to it, so it's like this. And that's the staccato part, so if you... And that's what I heard over and over, and I just looped it and looped it and looped it, so it was. So that's that part. So if you can get the kind of the groove. That's the hardest part. So from there, so that's the whole point of that thing. That's the hardest part. Now the other hard part from right here is you got to immediately, because it's such a fast transition, you got to immediately come down to the next section, which is just this little kind of... So it's just basically, give it the frets, but I mean, I think you can see it. So it's 14 to 16 on the B to the E. And it's just another one from the 13th fret back, so it's... Basically what you're always going to be doing is this. And just all you're doing is dun, 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 dun. So it's boom, dun, 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 and switch to the next one. And that's all it is. So that's the lick. But you got to be able to do it quick from that. So And that's the transition. So if you can't get this part to this part real quick, you're gonna, when you go up to speed, you're gonna trip all over it because it goes pretty. Okay. The last part right here is just kind of a little, it was a little goofy at first, but the lick sounds like this. So it makes sense when you're... So it's over the top, it's a 16 bar. Immediately bend on the B string on the 11th fret. So it's... Now this one's a little hard to hit, but you want to do a pinch harmonic right there on the second go. And if you can get that vibrato kind of harmonic thing going on there, so... Oops. So it's a pretty cool look. And then you basically just do this harmonic part. And then the last part is all done without the pick. And then this last thing is just playing the F sharp chord, power chord, tap, tap. And then when you hit the last one, you're gonna come down with your pinky, but you're also gonna hit the harmonic, which is basically on the 23rd fret. It's hard as hell to do. It's especially with your pinky, and it hurts if you've done it a long time. So it's like this. So give it a shot. So the whole thing together, slow, is... I'd like to give a thanks shout out to you guys that got me here with your videos. There was no discredit to or no disrespect to yours. I just thought that there was a little couple things that were missing from them, and just wanted to refine them. So if you like it, please subscribe and share it. Metal.